If you are new to our channel, subscribe, like, and don't forget to share. Okay, so see, today we will be able to do the revision of the derivation part of equation of kinematics. Okay, equation of motion. So for the equation of motion, consider an object has initial velocity u when t is 0. At time t, its final velocity is v and it has traveled a displacement x. It is accelerated with acceleration a. Now we will derive the equation of motion with two methods. First one will be the calculus method and second one will be graphical method. So first I am doing with the calculus method. First one. So we know acceleration is dv by dt. So dv will be a dt. Integrating both the sides with proper limits. When time is 0, initial velocity is u. When time is t, final velocity is v. Integration of dv we know is v. A is a constant. Integration of dt is t. Limit from 0 to t. Now upper limit minus lower limit. Right hand side again upper limit minus lower limit. So v minus u, that is equal to at. So v equals to u plus at. This is the first equation of motion. Okay, first one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, beta.
Sir, can you invite Gargi Shah?
Okay, just a minute. Gargi. Done. ओम नीरव को बुलाओ. नीरव नहीं आ रहा है?
क्या सर?
नीरव को भी मैसेज करो.
सर की तबीयत खराब है.
Okay, then leave it. So I think first equation of motion is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now velocity we know is dx by dt. Okay, further this dx by dt will be equal to u plus at. So we can simply write dx equals to u dt plus a t into dt. Now integrating both the sides. Integration of dx, integration of dt, integration of t. Now remember that when time is 0, the initial displacement is 0. We are considering it is starting from x equals to 0. And when time is t, the displacement of object is x. Now integration of dx will be x from 0 to x limit. Dt integration will be t limit from 0 to t. Now integration of t raised to 1 will be t square by 2. Again limit from 0 to t. So it will be x minus 0 equals to u t minus 0 plus half of a t square minus 0. So finally x is ut plus half of a t square. So this is second equation of motion. This is second equation of motion. Now for the third equation of motion we have to be a little bit more careful because we have to start from the beginning. A equals to, generally we write dv by dt. But here in this expression, we need actually x, relation between u, v and x. So what we will do, we will multiply and divide this with x. The purpose is to remove the dt. Now, instead of, so it will become v dv by dx, that is acceleration. So v dv will be equal to a dx. Again integrating both the sides with proper limit. Now when initially displacement is 0, initial velocity is u. At displacement x, the final velocity is v. Now integration of v, that is v square by 2. Further lower limit u, upper limit v. A integration of dx x, lower limit 0, upper limit x. So it will be v square minus square upon 2 equals to a x minus 0. So finally v square equals to u square plus 2ax. This is third equation of motion. Also, okay, you will get the recording also in the Teams.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now, second method, that is the graphical method. In graphical method, first you have to draw the graph. Let's say this is y-axis, which is velocity axis, and this one is x-axis. Now, when t is 0, the initial velocity is u. And after some time, when the motion is uniformly accelerated motion, so the initial velocity I am taking as u, and let's say this is time t, and at time t the velocity is u. Okay, sorry, velocity is v, not u. V, final velocity is v. Let's say this angle is theta, and first of all, if I want to calculate the first equation, I have to derive this. So we will take the slope, right? Slope means tan theta. Now tan theta we know will be what? V minus u upon t. And slope from the basic property of this graph of u and t, this is acceleration a. So a is v minus u by t. So we will get v equals to u plus at. So this is the derivation of first equation of motion by using graphical method. Now if I want to calculate the displacement, so we know the area of graph that will give us displacement. Okay, so can I consider it as a trapezium? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
So area of trapezium, that will give us x. Now according to the area formula, it will be what? Half of sum of parallel sides. The first one is having length u, second one is having length v. So sum of parallel sides will be u plus v, half of u plus v, into perpendicular distance between them is t. So this is second equation. Now you can modify this equation also. What can we do in this case? We can put the value of v in this equation number 2. So x equals to half u as it is, and v equals to u plus at into t. Multiply this, we'll get ut plus half of at square. So this is the another form of this second equation of motion. Now for the third equation of motion, simply what we will use first and second equation. Okay, from equation 1 and 2. simply x equals to, we have v plus u upon 2 into t, and the t value from here, this is v minus u by a. So v minus u by a. Now a plus b into a minus b we know is v square minus u square upon 2a, that is x. So this is giving us v square equals to u square plus 2ax. I hope the second derivation is also clear to everyone. Okay. Now after this we are coming to the projectile motion. Okay, so in projectile motion we have to derive the derivations, few derivations. Now first of all, the definition of projectile and projectile motion. When an object is thrown with some initial velocity making an angle theta with the horizontal in the space, it follows a parabolic path.
सर आपकी आवाज है।
आवाज कट गई. Now is it okay?
हाँ, नो सर।
Okay. अभी ठीक है? हेलो.
यस सर।
Yes.
Right. So when an object is thrown with initial velocity u making an angle theta with the horizontal, it follows a parabolic path. This particle is known as projectile and the motion of the particle is known as projectile motion. Now our first target is to prove that this is parabolic path. It means we have to derive the equation of this path. Okay. So first of all, we'll take the component of u. Along x-axis, first component will be u cos theta. Along y-axis, the component will be u sin theta. Now, acceleration along x-axis will be 0, while acceleration along y-axis will be minus g. This is the position of particle p at time t. So, I will use the second equation of motion. Okay. So, we will separate the motion in two parts, along x-axis, along y-axis. So for along x-axis, the x coordinate is x only, initial velocity is u cos theta, acceleration along x-axis is 0 and time will be common. Along y-axis, initial velocity u sin theta, acceleration is minus g and time is common. So from second equation of motion, I can simply say x equals to uxt plus half of ax into t square. Now ux is u cos theta, time is t, and ax is 0, so rest part of the equation will be 0. It will give us first equation. Same way, y equals to, we will write u by t plus half of a by t square. Substituting the value of uy and ay. Uy is u sin theta and ay is minus g. Now from equation 1, okay, I will substitute the value of time, which is nothing but x upon u cos theta. Okay, so here we will put the values. So y will be u sin theta into x upon u cos theta minus half of g as it is and t square as x square upon u square cos square theta. Now u cancel, sin theta upon cos theta will be tan theta, so it is x tan theta minus 1 upon 2 g x square upon u square cos square theta. So this is the equation which has a square term and linear term. So whenever it is like this, that shows that is the equation of parabola. Okay. I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Note down it quickly. This is derivation number 2. Okay, now in third derivation, we are going to do the derivation of range, time of flight, and height obtained by projectile. Okay, so again we will take the same situation. A projectile is projected at an angle theta with initial velocity u. Again, ay we will take as minus g, uy as u sine theta, ux as u cos theta, ax 0. Now, first of all, what is range? Okay, so the distance between the point of projection O and the point where projectile hit the ground, that is range. It means OP, that is range. Now time of flight, the total time during which the projectile remains in the space, that is time of flight. Height or maximum height, you can say, when the vertical component of velocity of the projectile is 0, height obtained by the projectile is its maximum height. Okay. Now, again remember that most of the derivations of the projectile we will do with the second equation of motion only. Okay. Only second equation of motion we are going to use. So first of all, I am going to derive the expression for the time of flight, right? So we know x will be 0 for y will be 0 for point P. Point P is here, so y component is 0. Now uy is already u sine theta. Ay is minus g and time as it is. So from second equation of motion I can say y equals to uyt plus half of ay t square. Y is 0. Uy is u sine theta. T is time of flight. So here t equals to capital T I am writing. Then ay is minus g and this is t square. Take the t common. So it is u sine theta minus half of g capital T. Now time of flight cannot be 0. So rest part of the equation will be 0, which will give us u sine theta equals to gt by 2. So t equals to 2u sine theta upon g. This is time of flight. Remember that the previous derivation I did with the second equation of motion only. And this derivation again I am doing with the second equation of motion. Okay. Now again if I want to calculate the value of range, I will use second equation of motion. Okay. So x will be r when ux is u cos theta and time equals to capital T, which is 2u sine theta by g, and ax is 0. So from second equation of motion, x equals to uxt plus half of ax t square. Now value of x is capital R, ux is u cos theta, time is 2u sine theta by g, and acceleration is 0. So this part of the equation will become 0. So it is what? 2u square sine theta into cos theta upon g. This is the formula for range. You can modify this. You can write u square sine 2 theta upon g. This is second derivation, that is range. Now we have to derive the expression of height. For height, we will use third equation of motion. Okay, third equation. So we know Vy square will be what? Uy square plus 2ay into y. Now final velocity is 0 at maximum height. So what I will do, Vy I will put 0. Uy I know is u sine theta. Ay is minus g and the value of y will be h. So all these parameters I will put in the equation, above equation, this one. So it will become 0 equals to u square sine square theta minus 2g capital H. So H will be equal to u square sine square theta upon 2g. This is the third derivation. I hope it is clear to everyone, all the three derivations.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
note down it quickly. Remember that whatever now see, after this here there are few basic things like the relation between the range and height, okay, and when the range will be same, some basic things are there. So we will do that. The fourth derivation, that is relation between R and H and theta. Okay. So as we know, range equals to 2 u square sine theta into cos theta upon g. First equation. And height we have seen u square sine square theta upon 2g. Okay. Now simply what we will do, we will divide these two. Okay, so equation number 2 I am dividing with the equation number 1. So h upon r. So h is u square sine square theta upon 2g and r is 2u square sine theta into cos theta and upon g. G and g cancel, u square cancel, 1 sine theta also cancel. So this is giving us sine theta upon 2 into 2, 4 cos theta. Now 4 I will take with the h by r. So it will become 4h upon r, which is nothing but sine theta upon cos theta. And sine theta upon cos theta is here tan theta. Okay, so this is the relation which you can use directly for the numericals. Okay, this is third derivation. Now fourth one, if theta 1 plus theta 2 is 90 degree, then range R1 will be equal to R2. Okay, this is the conclusion, that when theta 1 plus theta 2 angle of projections are in such a way that their sum is 90 degree, then the range will be same. Let's say R1, if I write u square sine square theta 1, sorry, 2 sine theta 1 cos theta 1 by g. Same way we can write the expression of R2, which is u square 2 sine theta 2 cos theta 2 upon g. So if theta 1 plus theta 2 is 90, we will see this R1 will be equal to R2. Now how come? I can put theta 2 as 90 degree minus theta 1. Now I am taking first of all sine both the sides. So sine theta 2 will be sine 90 minus theta 1, which is nothing but cos theta 1. Same way, if we take cos theta 2 both the sides here, so cos theta 2 will be cos of 90 minus theta 1. Cos 90 minus theta 1 means sine theta 1. Now from equation 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2, 3, 4. I will substitute the value of sine theta 2 and cos theta 2 in equation number 2. So range R2 will become u square twice of sine theta 1 cos theta 1 upon g. If you observe, this is nothing but R1 only. So theta 1 plus theta 2 when it is 90, range R1 is equal to R2. I hope these two derivations are clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Done.
Okay, all of you are done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now see, from this one more derivation is there. Now the derivation is for uniform circular motion means acceleration. Okay, acceleration in uniform circular motion. Suppose a particle is in uniform circular motion and the radius of circular path is capital R and particle is moving with velocity v. Okay. Now initial velocity I am considering as v1 vector. So its direction will be tangential. Okay. Let's say this is v1. After some time, this particle will reach at different position. Now over here again, the particle velocity will have different direction. Let's say that is v2 vector. Because it is uniform circular motion, so magnitude of v1 and v2 will be same. Let's say it is v. Now initial position vector is suppose r1. Final position vector is r2. I'm talking about this. Let's say this is p and this is q. And this is angular displacement which is delta theta. And displacement, if I talk about the displacement, that will be delta x, and arc length over here, that is delta s. Okay. Now again, because it is uniform circular motion, so r1 will be equal to r2 in magnitude, which will be equal to capital R. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we will shift this v1. Okay. And if we shift it, we can shift it somewhere here without changing its direction. Okay. So if I join this tip points of the arrows, okay, so that will give me delta v, change in velocity. Remember that this one is v1 vector, this is delta v, and this one will be delta theta. Now let's say this is M and that point is N. Now two triangles are there which are the similar triangles. Okay. So in the similar triangles, I can simply say the ratio of the same sides will be same. Okay. Ratio of the same sides will be same. So can I say delta V upon V1 in magnitude equals to delta X upon R1, or else I can say delta V by V equals to delta X upon capital R. Is this clear to everyone? Tell me so that I can move ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So delta V is delta X into V upon capital R, dividing both the sides with delta T. Okay. Now, delta V, that is giving us average velocity, sorry, average acceleration, and delta x upon delta t will give us average velocity. So taking limit both the sides, delta t tends to 0. Okay, we are taking the limits both the sides. Delta t tends to 0. It means now we are going to talk about instant, not the average. So now this delta v upon delta t along with the delta t tends to 0 limit, it will be dv by dt, instantaneous acceleration. Same way dx by dt, instantaneous velocity. So now I can say it is acceleration A, which is equal to v into v by r, which is nothing but v square upon r. I hope the derivation is clear to everyone. Tell me. आपका हो गया?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Oh.
sir.
इसमें तो आपका ये हो गया ऑलमोस्ट. अब न्यूटन्स लॉज ऑफ मोशन तो टोटली निकल गए हैं. ओनली वी हैव टू टॉक अबाउट द फ्रिक्शन. फ्रिक्शन में भी हमारे पास 2-3 derivations are there on circular road, and second one is level road, incline and level road. Okay, so next derivation, motion of a car on a level road which is not inclined. Okay, level means not inclined. So let's say on a level road, the car is moving. Now here I am not making a car, just consider this object of mass m. Now it is moving on the circular path of radius capital R. So its tendency of motion, that is to move away from the center. Okay, so the friction force will be towards the center, and this friction force will provide necessary centripetal force. Okay, so the friction force that will provide the necessary centripetal force. Now we know the friction force is what? Mu n, and Fc is mv square upon r. So it will be, n will be equal to mg. You can see the force due to gravity vertically downwards, that is mg, and this is equal to normal contact force. So mu mg equals to mv square upon capital R. Cancel. So v square will be equal to mu rg. So v will become under root of mu rg. This is also known as the optimum or the safest speed for the car driver. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Note down it quickly.